Welcome to our fifth show, the Triad Corner. I am Lew Hathaway, the chair of the Danvers Triad Council, and we hope you are enjoying these programs as we continue to bring awareness of the various projects of our Danvers Triad Council to the community. For those who may have missed our previous shows, let's review again. What is our Triad Council? It is an organization of senior citizens working to reduce criminal victimization, promote crime prevention, and safety awareness, and serve the needs of the senior community. And that's a big task that we cannot do by ourselves. On our Triad Council, we have the help of the Sheriff's and District Attorney's Departments, Danvers Senior Center, along with representatives from Danvers Fire and Police Departments, Danvers Housing Authority, and other social service agencies. We also try to help people avoid the many scams affecting seniors through phone calls and the internet. Today's topic is about fire safety for seniors. First, I want to mention a few programs that our Triad Council has in place to help seniors deal with fire emergencies as well as other emergencies. The File of Life cards provide medical and personal contact information about a person in case first responders find them unable to communicate. The large File of Life card is a magnetized holder and placed on the refrigerator. The small card is to be carried on your person. The cards should be updated in pencil, and copies of these cards are available free of charge at the Senior Center. There are several events during the year where help is given to fill out the cards. Our Numbers Up program is a very effective way to show how important it is to have your house number clearly visible when that 911 call is made and emergency vehicles are attempting to reach your home as quickly as possible. This program was started by our Triad Council in 2005, and it has been our goal to have every home in Danvers have its number clearly visible from the street. Remember to make sure your house numbers are up and are large enough to be visible from the street and not secured by any vegetation. Also, businesses need their numbers up and have the same responsibility under the Massachusetts law, Chapter 148, Section 49. We believe this to be an important program, especially in an emergency when every second counts. The Grab and Go Bags program, right here, was started in 2005. 2006, when residents who were affected by the Danversport explosion realized how important it was to have essential items with them such as keys, medications, or important papers. Inside the bag is a list of suggested items to be included. Our Danvers Triad Council would like you to know about a valuable program that can help you prevent electrical fires in your home. If you have defective lamps, fans, heaters, or other small appliances, you can bring them to the Mr. Fix-It program at the Senior Center at 25 Stone Street on the last Thursday of the month, except for November and December. Volunteers will repair the item and only charge for replacement parts. I know from personal experience how important their work is. I brought a lamp in a few weeks ago to be repaired and was told a loose wire could have caused a fire in my house. My guest today is Acting Danvers Fire Chief Jim McPherson. But first, we'd like to show you an effective video about fire safety for seniors produced by the West Allis, West Milwaukee Fire Department and Caring Community Group.
All too often, older adults expose themselves, their homes, and their neighbors, especially if they live in an apartment complex, to fire hazard. They don't do it maliciously or intentionally, it's just carelessness. For example, the #1 cause of fires by older adults is related to smoking. Careless smoking, a person falling asleep with a lighted cigarette in their hand. It can result in a room like this being engulfed in flames and filled with thick, choking black smoke in a matter of minutes. But careless smoking is obviously not the only cause for fires in your home.
The most common cause of fire among seniors is people smoking in bed or while lying down. People think they'll be able to stay awake long enough to finish their cigarette, but they tend to nod off and the cigarette is still burning and catches either their bedding or a newspaper or other nearby combustible item on fire. Space heaters are a problem for older adults because they get cold more easily. They end up placing a space heater next to a combustible object, whether it's a newspaper, a blanket they might be using, or furniture. Older adults tend to actually overload their electrical outlets, or they use appliances that are plugged in through frayed cords, which is also a fire hazard. Candles left unattended are a problem because it is an open flame that can easily set a nearby object on fire, especially if you have pets or grandchildren that can knock over the candle. Older adults tend to wear looser fitting clothing while cooking or wear a towel over their shoulder, and the looser clothing or towel tends to hit the hot surface starting a fire. They also tend to have combustible objects such as cooking magazines or recipes near the hot surface, or grease fires tend to start quickly and get out of control. Wood-burning stoves and fireplaces are a fire hazard because creosote tends to quickly build up and can cause an out-of-control fire next time you go to use it. And people also tend to leave their screens open, and sparks can easily fly out and start a fire.
Now, everything these experts just said can be prevented, but it depends on your paying attention to what you're doing. So let's take a look at how you can prevent fires in your home. Or, in the event something does happen and a fire does break out, we'll have some pointers to help you avoid injury.
Well, of course, our first recommendation would be that you try to quit smoking. If you are going to smoke at home, you want to make sure that you have ample ashtrays available, ashtrays that are strong and sturdy and deep. Maybe you can try keeping your smoking to the outside areas of the home. You want to be careful if you're taking medications that make you drowsy or drinking alcohol. What we want to be sure is that you never ever lay down while you're smoking. Well, we want to be careful with candles. They should be in obvious areas. You want to make sure that they're on a strong base and have a drip tray. You don't want to leave them unattended. If you're going to leave a room or you're leaving your home, you want to make sure that you extinguish those candles before you leave. Space heaters are often used to heat a small area of your home, maybe a bedroom. We have to be really careful because they generate a lot of heat. You don't want to have extra bedding or clothing. You have to be careful with newspapers. You don't want a lot of clutter around that space heater. You need to have about a 2-foot clear space all around that space heater for it to be able to operate safely. Well, when you're cooking, one of the first things you want to be aware of is what you're wearing. You don't want to wear clothing that has big draping sleeves. Aprons we have to be careful about. If you like keeping a towel over your shoulder, we have to keep these areas away from the tops of the stove because they can catch on fire. You also want to be careful of the pot handles. Make sure that those are turned inward and not hanging over the edge of the stove where they can get bumped. If you have a grease fire, the best way to try to extinguish that or bring it under control is to take the pot cover and place it on top of the burning pan. Don't try to carry the burning pan to the kitchen sink. You want to be very careful with items that you have nearby your stove. You don't want to have excess papers, mail, recipes, all those things that are combustible we want to keep away from the top of the stove. You never want to use your stove or oven to heat your home. The flames from on top of the stove or the electric element or the oven can easily spread to combustibles that might be in the kitchen, and you can have a fire. So when you go to bed at night, make sure that your stove and oven is turned off.
One precaution that seniors can take is don't overload electrical outlets. If you overload electrical outlets, then you can cause a fire. It can trip a circuit and it can cause sparks, and that can cause a fire. One precaution a senior can take is to have their chimneys inspected and cleaned annually to prevent the buildup of creosote that can in turn cause a fire in the home. Another way you can prevent a fire in the home is when you're using your fireplace, have the screen pulled and the doors closed so you can prevent sparks from coming out and starting a fire in your house. Smoke detectors are very important for senior citizens. Smoke detectors should be on every level of the home for the senior citizen so they can be alerted if there's a fire in the home. A senior citizen should change their batteries in their smoke detector twice a year. A good way to remember that is when you change your clock. Senior citizens should make sure that they have an escape route just in case of a fire in their home. They should have 2 ways in and out of their home, and once they are out of the building, they should stay out. The advantage of having a phone in the bedroom for a senior citizen is that they don't have to go to another place in the home where they can put themselves in danger. That way they can have it right there in the bed with them and they can call 911 for emergency services. Seniors often go on vacation. It's important to have a lockbox with the key to their home inside of the box just in case the fire department has to get into their home. Only the fire department will have access to this key. So if we can access this key and get into the home, then we can get in and respond to an emergency if there is one there. For seniors with impaired hearing, we recommend a vibrating smoke alarm. It works in conjunction with your standard smoke detector. When your smoke detector alarm sounds during the night, it will activate the alarm, causing the pad to vibrate, waking the person.
The key to fire prevention is paying attention to what you're doing. Don't leave anything unattended that could produce a high degree of heat or flames. Remember the #1 cause for fires with older adults? Careless smoking, somebody falling asleep with a lighted cigarette. It's easy to prevent. Just quit. Look around. Look for things that could cause a fire and remove them. Then go on to safely enjoy your golden years.
Welcome back to the Triad Corner. As I mentioned, my guest today is Acting Danvers Fire Chief Jim McPherson. Welcome, Jim.
Thank you, Lou.
Great to have you with us today.
Hello.
This was a very effective video to show older adults how easy it is for a fire to start in a number of situations. The video was made several years ago, though, but I was just wondering if you've noticed any changes in the type of incidences with older adults and fire safety over the years.
Well, Lou, there was a lot of really good information on this video for sure. Current, relevant information. The message is pretty much the same continuously. Some of the statistics have changed. Electrical fires, I think they're now saying, is the #1 cause of fires related to seniors as opposed to cooking. However, the safety messages are all the same. You need to educate yourself on hazards that around your home. Practice good safety, smoke detectors, carbon monoxide detectors, very, very important. But a lot of the stuff they talked about in there, cooking safety and heating safety, space heaters, the message is, it's still the same.
Still the same. Our Triad Council has had a program for years called Is Your Number Up? To bring the importance of having home and business numbers clearly visible in the event of an emergency. Has the fire department noticed any improvement in numbers being visible? And how does the department go about making sure the Massachusetts law requiring numbers up is followed?
Well, part of the problem with the numbers is the only time the law comes into effect is at the sale of a property.
Okay.
It is actually a law, but we can only regulate it at the sale of a property. Through programs like the Seniors Numbers Up, we've had some scouts do some Eagle Scout projects to help people get the numbers up and such. And people don't realize how important it really is. If you're on a dead-end street and it's 2468 on the left, it's pretty easy to find number 8. Even numbers are on the left in the majority of our town. There's a few streets that are off on that. Most of our low numbers start from the center of town out, but there's been changes and roads added, so that's not always true. Some roads like Locust Street, they'll jump 20 numbers from one house to the next. because of property in back and such like that. So
Yeah.
a lot of those houses is very difficult for us to find without the number. And in an emergency, seconds that truly do count sometimes. So we push that as much as the senior program is your number up. We work cooperatively with you folks, and there has definitely been an improvement. But again, with some of the seniors that don't get to the senior center and stay in their properties, they tend to stay in properties longer than the youth of today, as it were. So it's hard to get them to get their numbers up. But there's definitely been an improvement.
Excellent. Well, in the video, it mentioned the possibility of having a lockbox installed outside the home. Does Danvers have such a program in place?
Yep, we absolutely do. We have probably for, gosh, I'd say six or 7 years now. Our program was initiated by the students at St. Mary's.
Oh, yeah.
Did a fundraiser. They raised enough money to purchase, I believe it was 60 boxes or so. In the 8 or 9 years we've had the program going, I believe we have 40 boxes currently out. And we've used them. They're not only, they're a great, you have a great feeling of safety and security with them, but not only do you have that feeling of safety and security, we've actually used them to get into people's houses, to help them on medical aids. You know, in case in point, a woman fell, used her pager to initiate the call. When we got there, she had a lockbox. Instead of doing damage to the house, and more importantly, delaying the response, the lockbox worked. So it's a great program. You can get them through the senior center or through us at the fire department. We have a whole bunch of them still in stock, and they're a great asset for a senior.
Excellent.
We're the only ones that have a key to it, so that
yeah, that's important. It's
it's
questions
very
that people ask.
Yeah, it's very, very important, and it's a great program.
Great. How does the Danvers Fire Department bring awareness of the importance of smoke and carbon monoxide detectors to the older adults in Danvers?
Well, through your organization, Triad, through the Senior Center, we've had once or twice a year, generally, we do a Java with a Jake at the Senior Center, where we have the our fire prevention officer. This year we had our electrical inspector there as well to go over some safety tips, electrical being a major cause of fire. So we had Java with the Jake. I want to say there was probably 40 or 50 seniors there, and we raffled off some prizes and stuff, and had a great time and got the message out to people. I think
Excellent.
After our last Java with the Jake, we installed 4 lock boxes.
Wow.
So
Super.
it's a great asset. That we get the message out in the senior newsletter.
Yep.
2 or 3 times a year. We put they're nice enough to give us a corner to put a little usually seasonal related stuff, heating season's coming up, or Christmas tree safety, that kind of thing.
Okay.
So we use those. Those are the main resources that we use that are all set up in our community.
Excellent. Excellent. I know there were a lot of great fire safety tips mentioned in today's video, but tell us, I understand that you have fire and safety inspections at the department office to senior citizens who stay safe in their homes?
Yes, we do. We were awarded a grant for senior awareness of fire safety, or senior awareness of fire education. So we have some money to install smoke detectors on seniors that don't have smoke detectors. Went to do an oil inspection just the other day on an oil burner. Elderly woman, not a single smoke detector in the house. One in the basement with no cover on it and no battery on a bench. Okay. So through inspections like that, we can help people. If somebody has no smoke detectors and they need some help, with nobody else to help them and such,
Right.
then come down to the station or get a hold of through the senior center.
Sure.
And we'll come out and we'll basically look, see what you need for detectors, depending on where we are in our cycle of grants and such.
Okay.
We generally have supplies to install smoke detectors. We wouldn't leave without having some protection there. And we'll do just a general safety inspection, trip hazards, you know, overloaded electrical circuits, some things like that. And just a quick disclaimer that doesn't replace what we suggest you have a professional inspect your oil burner, your electrical systems should be inspected. I know there's a guide, 8 or 10 years. You know, you should have your systems inspected. Your chimneys should be inspected by a professional. Mm-hmm. So what we offer is just some basic safety inspection tips, so on and so forth. Okay. But the professionals are the ones that should really be, you know, in some of these, again, like we discussed earlier, a lot of seniors tend to stay in their houses for many years. So if you have one issue with one of your utilities, then it gets compounded year after year after year if you don't have them inspected by professionals.
Exactly, exactly. Well, we've had a lot of very good fire safety tips for seniors today, and we could probably go on for a long while, but and I suggest those of you who are watching today who are seniors to watch the show again, to watch the video, to go over the questions again, because they could help you out a lot. But if you would like more information about any of the various topics you have seen today, call the Danvers Fire Department information line at 978-774-2425. Of course, if you have any emergency, call 911. And if you'd like more information about the Danvers Triad Council, call the Senior Center, 978-762-0208, and call extension 106. So thank you for watching our 5th Triad Corner program, and thank you, Jim, for being my guest on the show today. And thanks also for being a member of the Danvers Triad Council, and best wishes on your upcoming retirement.
Thank you very much, Lou. This was a lot of fun, and hopefully the message gets out. And like you said, any more information, the Senior Center or the Fire Department, we have pamphlets and brochures, and we're willing to help any way we can.
Excellent. Thank you.